You can tell a storm is coming when Camron stops talking. However, he burns everything to the ground as he claps back. Following weeks of stress, leaking video, and pandemonium in the courtroom, Camron surprises everyone by revealing Chrissy's private voicemails. She personally pleaded with him to remove the messages. These are nuclear, not merely voice notes. The real question is why Chrissy confided in Cam at all, as admirers swoon over Jim Jones' reels. Why now, too? A conflict of receipts, regret, and revelation swiftly erupts from what starts out as retaliation. Every time a voicemail is played, a new layer of reality is revealed, and the result isn't pleasant. The internet is consuming it, loyalty is broken, and love is revealed. However, this is no longer amusement for those who are in the middle of the conflagration. It's about surviving. Welcome to Fallout. On social media, it began like any other afternoon. Endless memes, stories, and scrolling. However, sharp Camron made one mysterious tweet at 2:12 p.m. Are you all set to hear her? Large. The internet didn't require 2 invitations. Cam's Instagram story had a new post within minutes. A screen that is black. A voicemail with the label Chrissy. 1. Click. Cam, please remove such messages. Please, I wasn't giving it any thought. Straight, they weren't meant for you to keep. Unmistakably, Chrissy's voice was raw, emotive, and nearly frantic. Additionally, Camron set the hip-hop culture on fire with that one post. Was it authentic? Why now? Was there anything else on the horizon? Cam didn't hold out. A second story was posted by him. There was a caption for this one. You tried to play me, but you forgot that I keep my receipts. One more voicemail. Jim is unable to know what I told you. Everything will be ruined by it. The tale was screen captured, reposted, analyzed, and disseminated like wildfire before it vanished after a day. Twitter was on fire inside an hour. Reaction channels, blogs, and even mainstream media hurried to confirm the audio. According to one entertainment attorney on TikTok, this might be a serious legal problem. Cam might face severe consequences if these were filmed without permission. Cam, however, was not about to back down. He intensified. He shared a screen grab of a text message. You didn't save those, right? Chrissy asks him. Cam then responded with a message that included a shrug emoji. Jim Jones was silent for far too long, and the receipts were piling up. Fans described the silence as deafening. Chrissy's Instagram, meanwhile, went dark. Just one minor adjustment, no postings, no stories. Her bio, which used to be filled with brand tags and romantic sayings, now just says, "Don't test the quiet ones." A flurry of speculation broke out. Had Chrissy confided in Cam while Jim and she were having a difficult time? At one point, were they more than simply friends? If not, what precisely was she concealing? Theories exploded in podcasts. According to one host, Camron is too strategic for this to be trivial. He is the brush, the paint, and the entire dang canvas, and he's attempting to paint a painting. Jim, however, saw this as more than just paint. Blood was present in the water. Jim was upset and felt deceived, according to people close to him, not only by Cam, but also by Chrissy. According to those close to him, he was unaware that Chrissy had ever confided in Camron to that extent. It seemed like there had been 2 betrayals. The saddest part was that nobody was aware of how much more Cam had left to gain. Cam returned to the spotlight by sharing a video of himself, not a voicemail. Come with assurance, addressing the camera. I didn't want to do this, but you had better be prepared for me to unearth what you buried when you cast a shadow over my name. Mic drop. There was anarchy in the comment area. Some supporters took Cam's side, saying he was defending himself after being held accountable for turmoil and leaks for months. Others criticized him for being impolite and untidy. Hip-hop is not what this is. This is high school, remarked one follower, but it was undeniable. The entire world was focused on Cam. After a long period of silence, Jim posted, "Clowns perform. Kings reconstruct." Cam wasn't tagged. Everyone understood exactly what that meant, even though Chrissy wasn't mentioned. Cam then dropped the biggest bomb yet late that evening. 3 voicemails. I should have said something else about Jim Cam. I was furious. I was wounded. That is not something you can keep against me forever. It was terrible, vulnerable, and damning. What does Chrissy's connection with Jim tell us if she was calling Cam at times of uncertainty, suffering, or betrayal? What kept Cam in possession of those recordings? Legal professionals started to comment. Once more, Cam might be subject to actual repercussions based on where this was recorded. However, things might get messier than we anticipated if it was a consensual conversation and not private in the legal sense. In the middle of the chaos, Chrissy said nothing. However, quiet is powerful, and she had a loud voice. Jim allegedly informed close friends that he was prepared to clear the air and focused on protecting everyone else. There were rumors that a diss track or possibly a public declaration was imminent. Kim shared an image of a frog drinking tea in the interim. It was more than just beef. Everyone was observing, waiting, and resting on this burned dirt.did and single quotes to require much time. Camron's voicemail leak became viral on the internet less than 48 hours later. Jim Jones made a strong comeback to the public eye. Like the quiet before a storm, tea started out quietly. Jim's official account posted a simple tweet at 8:00 a.m. that said, "Every king has his day, but even kings get tired of pretending." Then a black background with a broken crown appeared in a promotional photograph. Title: "The Quiet Has Ended." The fans were fully aware of the outcome. A diss tune, but they didn't anticipate it would be that quick, unvarnished, and intimate. Jim released the song on all platforms at 11:11 a.m., followed by a gritty one-take video shot on a Harlem building's roof. The lyrics were incisive. "I kept the receipts, but I have no show. I'm just familiar with those late-night calls. I've already outgrown them. You're a backup vocalist on Kietra, and I'm sad that you haven't confided in me." A poetic sniper shot was fired. Jim didn't stop there either. Later that afternoon, he verified live on Instagram that Chrissy's voicemails were authentic and ancient. He denied that anything nefarious occurred, although he did say she contacted Kim during a brief breakup. "She was wounded. Although I was saddened, we managed to move past it." I was surprised to see Kim clinging to that like a tabloid addict. Although Jim spoke in a calm tone, the message was deadly. The internet was in disarray at the time. Some supporters praised Jim's maturity in handling the situation and praised him for finally establishing his own. Others claimed that his inaction had let Cam's story take center stage and that it was too little, too late. And then Cam's answer. As expected, Cam didn't rap. He claimed to have photoshopped a photo of Jim wearing a crown so that it was damaged, crooked, and falling apart. "When the king's castle is made of gossip," reads the caption. Thousands of people tuned in to a Twitter space the same evening. Journalists, influencers, and even former Dipset affiliates participated, breaking down every word on Jim's disc and every single clip point. A former affiliate made a shocking revelation. The worst one hasn't even been dropped by Cam yet. He is perched on a larger object. Speculation increased. Did Chrissy leave a message admitting to something worse? Jim has a secret about Cam. Both #ChryssyGate and #CamAgainstJim were trending by midnight. Even famous people had something to say. Some expressed their support for Jim via Twitter. Others used Cam's account to post laughing emojis. The culture was split. I was at the center of everything. Chrissy didn't say anything, but her quiet was now being read in many ways. Was she feeling guilty or ashamed, or was she getting ready to clap back? According to insiders close to her, Chrissy was upset, taken by surprise, and enraged. According to one blog, she was even discussing her options with her legal team in case the voicemails were exploited for defamatory or profit-driven purposes. Then, in yet another surprising turn of events, Jim's son, Joseph Lil Capote Jones, a new voice, shared a mysterious Instagram tale. Both of them let her down. And now they are using her suffering as material for playlists. A second firestorm was started by that one post. Was Joseph defending Chrissy or denouncing Jim and Cam for taking advantage of her weakness? In any case, it provided the public with something new to think about. Cam became silent by the following morning to calm. People anticipated another explosion, another voicemail, or another meme. Rather, nothing was uploaded on his account. There were rumors that Cam was finally the target of legal action. If Chrissy's lawyers issued a cease and desist, one entertainment lawyer posted, "Cam may be planning if he is silent." But Jim wasn't finished. He released a behind-the-scenes video called "Rebuilding the Throne" 2 days later. A combination of him in therapy, family moments, and studio footage. It was an obvious message. He wasn't performing his agony. He was owning it. One comment from Cam's burner account stood out in the comments. However, critics referred to it as PR, while supporters hailed its growth. Rebuild it. Just remember who was the first to figure it out. Then, Chrissy finally broke her silence with a message. A straightforward post featuring a photo of her facing a mirror. "Let them burn each other," reads the caption. "I've finished playing the match." The public flooded the internet with think pieces, reposts, and memes. All of a sudden, the conflict extended beyond Jim and Cam. The topic of discussion was how women are treated in hip-hop drama, about legacy, about forgiveness, about privacy, about legacy, and about forgiveness. The world waited for one last shoe to drop as the dust settled for the time being. Is Cam going to release another voicemail? Is Chrissy willing to participate in an interview? Would Chrissy and Jim end up splitting up in the end? Everyone watched, but nobody knew. The scars were still there, but the excitement was beginning to subside. Nobody posted anything for the first time in weeks. Just silence, no tweets, no lives. And for some reason, that stillness was more powerful than any diss song ever. Could Jim Jones was spotted exiting a Brooklyn studio with 2 people from his inner circle on his side. His countenance unreadable. No fristle, no press conference, just a brief note to the paparazzi. You don't have to do it while you're recuperating. In a brief press release at the same time, Camron's team said he was letting go of the incident and would be going back to his musical roots. Not the mess, but the harm had already been done to many. Then something unexpected happened. An exclusive on The Breakfast Club was hinted at by Charlemagne the God tomorrow. There will be someone in the building who will provide clarification. The world tuned in the following morning, and there she was, he added. Chrissy Lynn, graceful.com, worn out, but unflappable. I'm here to tell it how it is. It's just the truth, not for clicks or rumors. She continued by describing how the voicemails originated from a time in her life when she felt terrified, abandoned, and unheard. She denied having any improper intentions, but she did not deny contacting Camron. I believe that Cam could help Jim see reason at the time. At one point, we were all pals. Although that version of us is no longer there, we were family. She said that no woman should have her darkest hour transformed into online fodder and referred to Cam's posting of the voicemails as petty and spiteful. Then, in a shocking turn of events, she also made Jim answerable. I needed certain emotional support from Jim, but I didn't receive it. Although that doesn't excuse Kim's actions, it does explain why I initially reached out for her thigh. There was silence in the room. Leaning in, Charlemagne posed the query that was on everyone's thoughts. Would you ever bring Jim back to you? Chrissy hesitated. Then our love for one another will never fade. However, love alone is insufficient at times. Social media took off. The interview's clips went viral within hours. Pieces of thought came in. Chrissy was commended by some for her poise and candor. He was urged to sympathize by the majority, while others accused her of being a victim. None of this was requested by her. Kim weaponized her pain. One comment said, Jim chose to disregard it. She lived it. In the meantime, Camron released Deleted Messages, a surprise EP, a project with 5 tracks that straddled the boundary between defiance and apology. Archives. Voice notes, ain't no loyalty. Read Receipt, Delete, and For Me, Not For You were among the track titles. Though none of the songs were explicitly repentant, they all alluded to sorrow. Jim, though, said nothing. Rather than reacting with music, he declared the opening of King's Rebuild, a mental health program for males in the hip-hop scene. All of us have made errors, but it's time to begin mending in the proper manner with accountability, honesty, and support. Both detractors and admirers praised him for the decision. Additionally, Chrissy co-hosted a podcast called Unmuted with a women's advocacy group, highlighting experiences of women in the spotlight and how public narratives frequently deprive them of their humanity. Her own story in the first episode: "I'm not here to go through the trauma again. I'm coming to get it back." The last voicemail is said to have survived. He never made it public. It was too painful, according to some. He knew he had gone too far, according to others. However, for Cam, Jim, Chrissy, and even Joseph, this story signified the end of a time when friendship, music, and fame were the only things that mattered. Now split apart by pain, treachery, and development, the world had seen them fall apart. At last, though, they were all starting to rebuild. And even though the drama might never end on the internet, the individuals involved were getting better, one voicemail at a time. If this story taught us anything, it's that in the internet era, treachery, love, and celebrity are more complicated than ever. Whether you support Chrissy's emotional sincerity, Jim Jones's attempts to mend Camron Snow, or Holbard honesty, everyone has a story, and not all of them are worthy of making the news. That much is certain. It's your chance to talk now. In your opinion, what actually transpired behind the scenes? Did Cam err by disclosing private messages, or was he just using receipts to protect himself? Was Jim right to remain mute, or should he have taken the initiative sooner? Chrissy, what? About her manipulative or misinterpreted? Please share your opinions in the comments section below. Remember to subscribe, like, and share for more thrilling, in-depth content. To ensure you never miss the reality behind the drama, press the notification bell. We're here to maintain things unfiltered, authentic, and raw in a world full of filters, false smiles, and ulterior motives. Till the next time, maintain your curiosity, your awareness, and most importantly, your readiness, as the next voicemail may be yours. Voicemail and text messages might be yours.